Luna finds a new baby daddy and runs to Remy's? Following Will Spencer's discovery of Luna Nozawa's hiding place, the bold and the beautiful suggests that she must go. To what location would the deceased prisoner flee? Do you recall Remy Pryce? Boom. Now that poor Will discovers he had an affair with a very much alive Luna, let's see what happens next. Luna must run. Liam Spencer assisted in identifying an address that matched the enigmatic texts Luna has been sending Will. She gave him the mask that concealed her identity that fateful night after he had located her. Electra Forrester was mistaken for Luna by a very inebriated Will, and the rest is history. Will is now saddened and angry at being tricked. Luna must therefore locate a new hiding place. Will is devastated. Luna understands that time is of the importance after Will threatened to call the police on her. After being hidden in her apartment by Lee Finnegan, Luna ends up at Remy's door. Remy was sympathetic to Luna prior to her death, thus it is understandable that he is shocked to see her. After calming him down, Luna tells Remy what has occurred to her. Remy is prudently worried by her recent activities and must decide whether to take the chance of saving her. Will she reveal all the truth or just a portion of it? Luna and Remy reconvene. In other words, Luna must become pregnant. Despite a negative pregnancy test, she believed she was expecting Will's child. We believe she tries to pass off Remy's child as Will's if she can conceive swiftly. Can she get what she wants from Remy? It might be a difficult task because, like Will, he is addicted to Electra. However, Remy can become so stunned and amazed that he turns into putty in Luna's grasp. The next chapter of Luna Nozawa's twisted story began when she fled Lee Finnegan's apartment. This story was already filled with lies, seduction, and betrayal, but it was about to take a darker turn when she turned her attention to Remy Pryce, the one man who once showed her compassion when everyone else had labeled her a villain beyond redemption. Luna knew she needed both sanctuary and a new angle, and Remy, sweet, innocent Remy, seemed like the ideal candidate, but fate had not yet revealed how tangled this web could get. With the sound of Will's contempt still echoing in her ears, her pulse raced as she ran through the darkness. "You're disgusting. You're going back to prison, Luna," and those words hurt her more than she acknowledged because Will's rejection fueled her desire to prove that someone, anyone, could still want her, could still need her, could still see her as a woman worthy of love, desire, and survival rather than as the resurrected criminal who had deceived a Forrester heir in bed. So, when she arrived at Remy's door, drenched in sweat and shaking with adrenaline, she put on the mask of vulnerability she wore so well, knocking gently until he opened and stared at her as if a ghost had appeared, because to him, she was a ghost dead and buried in every way that mattered, until this very moment when she whispered. Even though he is shocked and unable to comprehend the flurry of emotions rushing through his chest, he is forced to stand aside when he realizes it's me, Remy, I'm alive. Luna wasted no time in fabricating her story, exaggerating her death, downplaying her crimes, emphasizing her victim status, and portraying herself as a woman on the hunt for sins she hadn't fully committed. However, even as she spoke, her thoughts were elsewhere, planning, calculating, and already considering Remy's life as a potential new battlefield in which to stake her claim. What better claim could she make than to become pregnant? Because, in the dark corners of her mind, a pregnancy equaled power, a child equaled leverage, and if it wasn't Will's child because that chance had vanished with a negative test, then Remy's would have to settle for. Particularly if she were able to subsequently establish Will's paternity, tying him to her in ways that no restraining order, jail term, or disapproving mother could ever remove. Between his instinct to care and his instinct to flee, Remy allowed Luna to stay for the night. He poured her a glass of water and demanded to know the truth about Will, Electra, and the bed invasion, which was already the year's biggest scandal. Luna, as cunning as ever, avoided the most serious details, claiming that Will had wanted her but was unable to admit it to himself, that Electra was too critical to please him, and that all she did was give him the freedom he secretly desired. Remy scowled, unconvinced, because even in his good-heartedness, he could see manipulation when it was dangled in front of him. However, loneliness had a way of weakening determination, and as Luna moved in and touched his arm while murmuring that she had no one else and that she needed him. In this tempest of falsehoods and confessions, Remy felt the old flicker of attraction rekindle, the deadly chemistry that had once enticed him but had been buried by reason. But Remy could be different. He was different, Luna crooned, letting her hand slide to his chest and her eyes sparkle with false sincerity, until he exhaled shakily and confessed he had never stopped wondering what it would be like to be with her. Luna felt it, pressing further, and recounting how the world abandoned her, how even her own flesh and blood, turned cold. She only needed that authorization. After Remy gave in to Luna's advances despite knowing that every warning sign flashed neon red, the next few hours were a blur of passion and guilt. Luna, triumphant, lay silently with her hand over her belly, believing that this time, this union, would secure her future because if she conceived Remy's child, she might rewrite the story once more by spinning it into wills and tying herself to the Spencer fortune. However, fate has a cruel way of catching up, and rumors in Los Angeles spread more quickly than the ink of new marriages. As Ridge and Brooke celebrated their impromptu vows, Katie and Bill pieced together the pieces of Will's revelation, while Remy woke up with regret heavy on his shoulders, demanding answers, and wondering if he had just signed a deal with the devil. Luna dismissed him, humming about destiny and fresh starts, already planning her next move. The walls started to close in as Lee stormed with righteous rage. Luna clung more tightly to her Remy plan, insisting that they could start a family and that she needed him. She also insisted that love, her brand of twisted, suffocating love, was stronger than any crime, but the question of whether Remy would continue to be her accomplice or bring her down was the main concern. Whether Luna's bet on a baby would succeed or fail in spectacular B&B fashion set the stage for yet another chapter in a story where lies spread more quickly than truth, and Luna Nozawa repeatedly demonstrates that her desire for power knows no bounds.